We're talking gut health because over in my Optimal You group, we are doing a 7-day gut reset. It is not too late. You can always jump in. I have a 7-day eating plan if you want it done for you, simple. There's even a shopping list that's in the pin posts. And then I just have a list if you just want to jump in and get started. I have a list of things that you absolutely have to avoid and some gut-friendly foods for you to incorporate this week. So join us. I am posting a pretty in-depth gut health lesson every day. So it absolutely is going to be beneficial. So today, because of that, I am going to talk about what we refer to as the 4R protocol. And that is basically every single gut health protocol done in functional medicine is based on the 4R protocol. Some people call it a 5R protocol because they want to be a little different, a little bit fancy. But basically, the whole premise of this protocol is remove, replace, re-inoculate, and repair your gut. So the first step in anything, which is what we're doing this week, is remove all the nonsense and all the food that causes inflammation in your gut. It's sugar, alcohol, highly processed foods, gluten, and grains. Dairy for some people, but not necessarily for everybody, right? So if you are having a lot of gut issues, I would say get rid of everything you possibly can, right? So the remove step is to eliminate all the things that cause your gut stress and inflammation. You want to reduce toxins, remove any food sensitivities, eliminate any kind of pathogens, yeast, parasites, all that stuff, right? Then step 2 is to replace. Once we calm down the gut and get that inflammation under control, I use the analogy of your gut being a cauldron, okay? Inflammation is the flame underneath that cauldron. So the higher the flame, the more systemic your symptoms are going to be. So let's even talk about inflammation in the form of arthritis. It's still inflammation. So you might have, those basic issues with belching, constipation, all of those things that you recognize as gut issues, but throw onto that skin issues. You start to break out. That's your gut trying to tell you something. The brain fog, not sleeping at night. These are all connected. Not one thing stands alone. Our body wants balance. So everything that is off is your body waving a little red flag saying, hey, pay attention to me. So in step 2, when we are going to replace, that means that we are going to support the digestive function of our gut, and we need to replace things such as digestive enzymes, bile salts, stomach acid, especially if you are taking a PPI, Tums even, omeprazole, Pepcid, all of those things. And I know many people are on these for a long, long time. That just contributes to your problem. Our digestion starts in our mouth. So think about it. When your mouth starts to water, if you smell some good food, that is literally your body getting ready to digest that food. The juices, the digestive juices in your mouth start to develop and you get more of them. That's when you start chewing your food. That is how food begins to digest. Chewing all your food, which is why it's recommended that you chew it very, very well. The better you chew your food, the easier your nutrition can be absorbed and pulled out of the food that you're eating. So digestive enzymes, you can find it if you can buy it in a capsule, or papaya, pineapple, they are natural in digestive enzymes. We want to build up the betaine, the stomach acid, the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and the bile salts to help support fat digestion. Those three things are absolutely necessary. So in the replace, we want to make sure that that gut is acidic enough and you have the digestive enzymes to break down your meals and absorb the nutrition. So in step 2, in the replace section of the 4R protocol, take digestive enzymes before a meal, especially your big meals. That will help break everything down. This is a little tricky. You do want to increase your betaine and hydrochloric acid. You can use supplements if you have low stomach acid, but if you have been on a PPI for a long time, if you've been consistently taking them, it is difficult to get off of them. So you definitely need to talk to your healthcare provider to do that. It will be done gradually, and it's a very difficult thing to do. In my experience as a healthcare provider, it's tricky. So you don't really want to stop that cold turkey. Step 3 is reinoculate. This is when we want to restore the healthy gut balance of your microbiome. So we're replenishing with probiotics and prebiotics. So if you're trying to do this with food, which, of course, a supplement is so much easier, but food-wise, we're talking unsweetened kefir, unsweetened yogurt. Those are good probiotics. Sauerkraut, any food fermented without sugar. So you have to be careful about this because we want a natural fermentation, not the quick pickling kind of fermentation. A kombucha, kimchi, sauerkraut, a teaspoon a day will be equal to a supplement pill that you can take. Again, I will say high quality, highly absorbed is what you need. Not necessarily, you get what you pay for. You want a high quality supplement because they need to be absorbable and useful. Prebiotics. Now, prebiotics it's actually what feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Okay. So it's really, really important. And that comes from resistant starch. So think of a green banana. They have a lot of prebiotics in them. Prebiotics, it supports your natural bacterial growth. So we definitely want to incorporate that. A lot of collagen supplements also, like collagen powders, also have prebiotics, which is really helpful. Think inulin if you're looking for it on a label. And then the best way to reinoculate is taking probiotic supplements. Now, variety is the spice of life when it comes to your gut health. So even though you may find, a probiotic that you really like, every month I recommend you change that up because you want a different variety in your gut. So pick 2 or 3 and rotate through them. Lactobacillus and bifidobacterium are 2 very good ones that are usually in all of them, but those are really good broad probiotics that your gut loves. Probiotic rich foods, going back to that, like I said, the greener the banana, the better. Oats, but you have to be careful with a whole lot of grains and oats. Onions, leeks, garlics, asparagus. Those are good prebiotic foods for you. And then we are on step 4, repair. So the goal of repairing is obviously heal the gut lining, right? So as we get, not necessarily even as we get older, but from highly processed foods, from all of the toxins and everything that we're exposed to all the time, this starts to break down your gut lining. And then we also see that if you think of your gut, your intestinal wall, like a picket fence, the pickets start to separate. So think about like your backyard. If you have a picket fence that you're trying to keep a little dog in and the slats are close together, great. The dog's staying in the backyard. But if the slats start to open up like this, the dog's going to get right out. He's going to squeeze right out between those slats. This is what happens to your gut in leaky gut. So if you're not breaking down your food enough and you have this gut wall that is loose and not tight junctions like this, molecules of food are going to sneak out. Your body's going to recognize them as foreign. And that's how the inflammation starts, because your body's fighting against the food that's not in the intestinal wall where it's supposed to be, and it's hanging out and causing inflammation because your body's trying to fight that foreign body. So how we restore the gut lining and tighten those pickets, those gaps in your intestinal wall, is gut healing supplements such as L-glutamine, zinc, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins A, C, and E. Herbal remedies that we like to incorporate. So if you're getting some kind of gut rebuild, this is what you want in that. Usually it's a powder, it's a drink. It is zinc L-glutamine, zinc carnosine, it's marshmallow root, it's slippery elm, it's aloe vera, very important to soothe the gut. Think, if you're looking at food, think bone broth. Collagen in bone broth is healing for the gut. Supplements, when you get to this point, are helpful to restore the gut microbiome throughout this whole process, honestly. And again, it's not a quick fix. It's a process. Usually I'm taking a good up to 12 weeks, depending on what's going on in the gut at any given time, to go through this entire process. The first step of removing is calming the inflammation, getting your gut ready to heal itself. Then replacing, reinoculating, and then the repair. Usually removing the foods and anything that causes the inflammation, that is huge. And it's the number one thing you can do to quickly get that inflammation down. But then you'll start to feel better. You just have to remember, if you don't go through the replace, reinoculate, and repair, you're leaving a whole lot of things to still happen. Because once you start to get, once you get exposed to those foods that might be causing you an issue again, you're going to have the same issues. So step 2, 3, and 4, the replace, reinoculate, and repair, literally is going to help get the gut in order. So it will be a lot stronger. It builds your immunity, and just gives everything a reset. And this, in my opinion, is the number one thing that you can do. It's the literal foundation of your health. And once you have a balanced, healthy immune system in your gut, your hormones can be balanced and they stay balanced, and your weight loss will be long lasting without crazy restrictive diets. So hop on over, join us in the 7-day reset. I hope this helped someone. Have a great